welcome everybody. This is Coach Emily, and I am so thrilled. We have Audra with us today. She has been a member of SB Gang for quite some time, and we have a lot of admiration for Audra. She's in a lot of places and gets quoted a lot, and she's just was the first person that came to mind when I thought, who can we highlight from group that has a beautiful testimony to the carnivore journey. So welcome, Audra. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank
Hi
you.
there, Audra. Hi.
Welcome,
Hi,
Audra.
hi, girls of the butter dish.
Yeah, we're doing the butter dish here. So we've known Bella at Steak and Butter Girl for quite some time, and we help out in her meetings, and we love being there. These are transformational meetings. And tell us about your transformation, Audra. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what your carnivore transformation has been like so far.
Um, so basically, I have done every diet known to man, everything from Weight Watchers to Nutrisystem to you name it. I even had weight loss surgery. And weight loss surgery is not it fixes your insides, but it doesn't fix your mind. I've never really had anything be to I've never had anything that really affected me the way carnivore does. Carnivore has changed a lot of things for me. Initially, I had to try to do carnivore on my own, and I wasn't very successful with it. Let me back up for a minute. I tried to do fasting first, and
Mm.
I didn't know what I was doing. So I was literally white knuckling. Let me just try to get through this. Let me not eat sweets, not eat carbs, not eat potatoes. Oh, this is really hard. I don't think I can do this. So I would push myself to do the fasting. Well, then I learned about carnivore. So I saw Kelly Hogan was my first person I ever saw. And then I just kind of went from there with Dr. Kim Berry and then Bella and the Steak and Butter Gang. And it's just kind of opened up from there. But anyway, so when I first started doing carnivore, I tried doing it on my own. And doing it on my own was like, it wasn't very productive. It was kind of half. It was half doing it because I didn't know what to do. I didn't understand, what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat, and what I should eat when I'm not fasting. And it's very confusing at first when you're trying to do it on your own. Well, then, like I said, I found Kelly Hogan and I was like, wow, this lady's been carnivore all these years. Wow. And look how
Mhm.
beautiful she looks. And look at Ken Berry and look at Bella. And wow, I need to look into this. So I started looking into it and I started getting into the community. That's when I joined the Steak and Butter Gang. I cannot tell you how much I love the Steak and Butter Gang. It's just, I call it the CC, it's the carnivore community basically. And just going there and getting support and talking to other people who've had cravings, who have food addiction, who have a hard time, they're like, come on board, come on board, we'll help you. And I've learned so much about myself in 6 months.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
What are some of the changes um, from your experience before? Like, for example, how was fasting then and how is fasting now? And what are some of the non-scale victories or experiences that you've had that have been wonderful for your journey now?
Um, Fasting then, like I said, was really hard. The one thing that I learned, I used to do the snake diet. And I know I'm sure a deck knows about the snake diet because I think I've heard you talk about it. And that's like hardcore. That is hardcore. That is salt water fasting. And it's hard. And then when you come off of the fast, you don't really know what to eat. So then you just like binge. And then you think, oh, I got to get back on the fasting again. Well, then you binge and then you get back on the fasting and you can't get back on it because you binged. And you
Mhm.
had sugar and carbs and fruit and vegetables and all these things that you shouldn't have. Um, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. I look back now and I think, oh my gosh, no wonder I couldn't do it any better than I did it. I mean, I lost. Don't get me wrong. I lost some weight, lost some inches, but nothing like I have since I've gone carnivore with the steak and butter gang.
Oh, wonderful. And I know you do have the discipline, because you've been able to be doing those fasting with carbs and with everything. So it's not even the willpower or the discipline that made you, lose that weight. It's just you could do it now. It's much easier for you.
Much easier. Used to, I finally kind of learned after fasting for a while. I learned that if on the weekends I didn't eat the sugar and the carbs and all that, Monday was a lot easier. But if you just go all out, full bore ahead on the weekend, you can forget Monday because you're not going to be able to fast Monday. And even now being carnivore, I've been carnivore now for right at 5 months. 6 if you count the time on my own, but about 5 months. And I mean, I'm not where I want to be yet, size wise, but I have had huge differences in body composition. And I feel amazing, but we'll get in, I'll go through those in a minute. But as far as like trying to fast on my own, I just didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know how to do it. I knew that I needed to run a marathon, but I didn't know what shoes to get and the clothes to get and the place to run the marathon. But I wanted to run a marathon, and I wanted to fast, but I didn't know how. So I basically had to educate myself and find out which direction to go and what to do and what tools to put in my tool bag. And that's basically what I did, by watching lots of YouTube, watching lots of carnivore people. Like I said, I started out with Kelly, and I watched Kelly for a long time. And then I started seeing other people who she had on her channel or interviewed, and then that took me to another level. And then I went to another level, and then another level. And then when I got in the carnivore community, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. It's amazing how many people just reach out and say, come on in here, let me hug you right here, and come into the community, and we'll help you. But any question that I've had, I mean, people just jump to answer it. People jump to help you. One of the biggest things, in my opinion, is the more you attend the meetings, the better. The more you attend them live, the better. But if you don't attend them live, that's okay. Go back and watch them recorded, because even this far in my journey, I still learn something almost every time I watch a video, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Mighty Network, or whether it's Bella's YouTube, she interviewed somebody, Dr. Eflin was a guest on the show, or on the Mighty Network, and she talks about food addiction. And I've never really ever had anybody talk to me about that, because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I'm really fun, but I don't do none of those things. But I do ride a motorcycle quite often, but I never considered myself an addict, honestly and truly. I never did. And when I became part of the Steak and Butter Gang, and like I said, all these people that I watch on YouTube that are just so inspirational, I learned, you know what? I have a problem. My problem is sugar. I don't
Yeah.
care about bread. I don't care about pasta. I really don't even care about food. Just get to dessert. I like sugar. And I have been able to break that sugar addiction by carnivore. And I've never been able to break it by nothing else. Even weight loss surgery, even Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, the cabbage diet, you name it. And even fasting, I could not break the sugar addiction because I was not refueling properly.
Exactly. I
But
actually
that,
remember you, Audra, the first time, one of the first times you came on, and you said that you are a sugar addict. You just said it right out the first time you introduced yourself, and I was like, oh
yep,
my gosh, this is it might be a tough one, but you got it straight to the point. You fixed it right away, actually, within the month, and I was so proud to see that and to hear you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that I would do different is, everybody said give up the stevia, give up the sweet drops, give up the sweetener in the coffee, even though it's not sugar, even though it's not Splenda, sweet and low, equal, even though it's none of those things. It was sweet drops, sweet leaf drops, which is a form of stevia. Everybody said, give it up, give it up, give it up. Audra, give it up. Audra, you should give it up. And I said, oh, but I like it so good. Will it really make that much difference? It does. When you give that up, then you what little bit of craving was still there leaves.
Wow.
The sooner you
Awesome.
give it up, the better.
Audra, I have a question. So you came into the Steak and Butter Gang and found great support. Have you entertained additional supports like a health coach or something like that?
Actually, I have. I'm a member of a couple other groups as well, just because I just didn't like with Kelly Hogan. I hear some of her stuff from time to time, and I just enjoy her, and I feel like I learn. And in with carnivore, you can't learn enough. I mean, you got to open up your mind. It's different. It's different than anything we've ever done because I'm 53 years old, and all of my life it was okay. Do low carb. Okay, that don't work. Do low fat. Okay, that don't work. Do high fat. Okay, so you literally have to reprogram your brain from everything you've ever learned. I get a lot of benefit from coaching from Emily and Raymond. I
Awesome.
currently coach with them. Like I said, I own my own business. I'm actually a private investigator in North Carolina. I'm also licensed in life coaching, and I'm certified in face reading, and I'm certified in body language. So
Oh, wow.
a lot of times people say, how do you know if you need a coach? Well, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and you keep getting the same result over and over and over, and you want something different, then you need someone to help you. You need a coach. You need someone to hold your feet to the fire. Even though I'm a life coach and I basically coach other people on life things like shopaholic or people who want to declutter their house, things like that. I still need coaching myself. So that's why I reached out to Raymond and Emily, and they kind of hold my feet to the fire, if you will, keep me accountable, keep me on track. And if I have a problem, I can talk to them about the problem. But there again, not everybody needs a coach. If you just stay in the community, that might be good enough too. But I wanted to go to another level. So I felt like if I had a coach for, I don't know, several weeks or so, whatever seems good, then I would be able to, advance to the level I want to go. And now
Amazing.
keep in mind too, some people, and this is what I tell some people in my coaching, some people are not coachable.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
and
Mm.
what that means is you want to stop being a shopaholic. You want to stop buying everything on sale, but you can't. But then when I tell you how we're going to work on stopping buying everything on sale, you don't want to do that. So even though you think you might want to run the marathon and you think you're ready and you got the tennis shoes, you're not. Sometimes people aren't. Some people are not coachable, I find. So if you want a coach, then you've really got to open up your mind and you got to listen to what they say because your coach is not there to tell you what you want to hear or what makes you feel good. They're there to tell you what you've got to do to accomplish your goals.
That's great
So,
advice there. Yeah.
do you want to feel good or do you want to accomplish your goals? Well, if you accomplish your goals, you're going to feel good, but that just might not be what you want to do at the time. And as far as one of the questions y'all had asked me was how to find a good coach fit. I think you should listen to people's YouTube. I think you should listen to people in communities and, on the Steak and Butter Gang and kind of get a feel for where they're going, what their goals are, and what your goals are, and if you feel like your personality would blend with theirs. Because not every coach is for every person, but there is a coach for you.
Oh,
Just
wonderful.
like every pot has a lid, right?
That's right. That's right. There you go.
I love it. I love it. So, what's one thing that you wish you had known before starting carnivore that you know now that you wish you knew in the beginning?
When I first started carnivore on my own, I wish I would have known how to feast,
Mm.
because I didn't know how to feast. And there again, going back to all that we've ever learned in our life, we've always restricted, restricted, calorie
Mm.
counted, do more exercise, eat less food, work out more. And see, that doesn't matter in carnivore. That's not important in carnivore.
No.
The thing that I would wish I would have known was to feast, was to just eat meat. when I first feasted in the beginning, I was like, oh, this is great. We're having bacon, we're having eggs, we're having some steak, some hamburger, some barbecue, you know. I mean, when I first, and I was like, this can't work. This can't work because who can eat this much and lose weight? And guess what? It works.
Yes. So that's a great non-scale victory. So would you like to tell us any more little or big non-scale victories you have achieved when you became carnivore?
Well, just recently I got engaged
Oh.
and we went to get my ring size and my finger has been a 7 most of my life. This ring is a 5.5.
Wow.
So that was kind of I was really shocked. Like, wow, you know, my fingers are really small. The other day I was riding with a group of people who are friends of mine. And a lot of times I lead our group, I lead our pack of people riding. And my girlfriend said to me, she said, Audra, she said, you know, we ride behind you a lot. And she's like, and normally your shoulders are like this.
Oh
And she's like, now your shoulders are much more narrow. And that made me feel really good. And I've seen some pictures that my face looks much thinner than it was. Let's see, my inflammation is gone. My hair has taken off growing. I feel much better. Cobwebs, brain fog, cobwebs in my head are gone. I have way more energy. And used to, I literally could not walk down the candy aisle of the convenience store without leaving with 2 or 3 things. Okay. And I know I probably shouldn't mention this, but white chocolate Reese's was my jam. And I'll tell you how bad I was. I would buy a 4-pack. Okay, this is the truth. Honest to goodness, I buy a 4-pack. We'd all be out riding for the weekend. I buy a 4-pack. Okay, don't ask for one of my 4 because I'm going to eat them all. Okay? I will buy you your own pack. I will even help you eat your 4, but don't ask for one of my 4. That's how addicted I was. I mean, I'm being honest about it. And like I said, I've done everything, and I'm 53 years old, and I finally feel like I'm in control of food. I finally feel like I truly have food freedom, and I don't have to eat sugar every day or even every week. I mean, I finally can walk down the convenience store aisle, the candy aisle, and be like, oh yeah, there's my chocolate Reese's, but that doesn't bother me. Neither does any of the other candies. And I didn't think I would ever get to that. I really didn't. Over the holidays, Raymond and Emily were a little concerned about me because I have people who rely on me to make them certain desserts at Christmas. And they asked me to make them this year, and they know I'm carnivore. And so I'm like, okay, I can do this. So I made several different kinds of desserts and candies and chocolate eclairs and all kinds of stuff. And I didn't have any of it. And I didn't have any desire to have it. Where used to, there's no way I could have restrained myself. I would have had to lick the spoon or, you know, lick the bowl or something. And then that would trigger eating 2 or 3 pieces of the candy or whatever. And I made it this year, and it really didn't even faze me. The one thing when I poured some chocolate icing over something, the chocolate icing smelled really good, but I kicked into play what Dr. Eflin said. I had mentally made a card in my mind that said chocolate icing, flipped it over, inflammation, make me feel bad, make me crave more.
That
You know,
works.
make me crave more, make me have brain fog, make me have inflammation, make me gain weight, you know, and one piece of something turns into 10. And so I kind of have I have that mental flashcard in my mind. And when something comes about, I turn on the flashcard. Nope, can't do it. And that helps me to walk away from it.
That's an incredible trick. And this holiday, just getting past Christmas, we're recording right now in the end of December, and I just can't. It was miraculous. I just couldn't believe that you could be in that environment and do all this cooking and baking and really make it through. And then you used another trick too. So I see that you keep a lot of tools available to help you, and you engage different tools when you need them. Well, Audra,
and
you're
I did
such
have
a
bacon. I did have bacon on my counter that day too. I had like some crispy bacon cooked up in a dish, and I thought, you know what? If I can't make it, and I feel like I'm going to slide, I'll just have some bacon. But I didn't eat no bacon.
That's
Bacon.
amazing.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, I just love it. It's incredible. So I just when I think of you and around you and listen to you speaking, joy is the word that comes to me. You are so joyful, you have so much energy, and you have so much enthusiasm. And so we want to know what brings you joy.
What brings me joy? I like to ride my motorcycle. That's
Yeah.
we have a lot of people that we ride with, other couples and single people, and we all get together and we ride somewhere and we have lunch somewhere, and I eat carnivore. Eating out, oh, I'll talk about that in a minute, but we just take off and ride somewhere and eat lunch and hang out and talk and just have a good time. I enjoy that, and I enjoy traveling.
Do you
That
enjoy it more now, Audra? Do you enjoy the motorcycling more? Can you tell a difference?
No, not really. I don't think I
Okay.
can enjoy it any more than I already do. I just enjoy it that much. Yeah.
That's what I'm more I find. I hear it all the time, but if you just hear it from in person, you've only 6 months, and this is.
Well, I started in January, and I did a month of carnivore, like February, March, somewhere in there. And I would do real good, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I wasn't doing it right. I mean, I really was not doing it right. How hard is it to do? Well, it is when you don't know what you're doing.
When we don't have the correct instructions. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. It's like a job. When we talk about eating carnivore like it's your job, you have to learn your job.
Yep.
But anyway, I kind of started things in February, March, somewhere in there. But then I really, really kicked it in from August until now.
Incredible.
Amazing.
I just love it. That's so cool.
I saw some pictures the other night with my grandson, and I was like, wow, like, who's that woman on the couch? I was kind of shocked. And the same thing with a picture with somebody the other day, just a selfie, and I was like, oh wow, my face looks thin.
Every time I see you, you are so much trimmer in your face, and you take up less space in the Zoom square. And yeah, you are dramatically getting recomp. It's just so beautiful. I just love to see it.
I saw my masseuse on yesterday, and she's like, what? It's just been 2 weeks since I've seen you. She's like, how much weight have you lost in 2 weeks? And I'm like, really? I haven't lost any pounds, but it's it's body recomp. And she's like, you're laying on my table, and she's like, your shoulders are so much more narrow, and she's like, and your waist is like getting an hourglass to it.
Yes,
and I'm like,
it is.
praise the Lord.
Yes. And just seeing your waist when you stood up like that, you are getting so much recomp. And this is part of our primal bodies, our natural bodies. And this is another reason that we know how healthy this is for us, is that your shape becomes, it's actually representing fertility, but your shape becomes more curvy and primal. And it's just so beautiful, just beautiful to watch that transformation. Absolutely.
Your body knows what it wants to be. It's always trying to strive that. So if we give the good stuff, the nutrients and the building blocks, it will do its job. It will get to the body that it wants to be in. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But we were talking about starting the carnivore thing myself. Someone told me recently, actually it was Danny, that she said the more you say yes, the harder it is to say no. And that is the truth. The more you say yes on the weekends, yes, I'm going to splurge, yes, I'm going to this, come Monday, you can't say no. You have to this is probably the longest and the hardest I've ever been dedicated. Even during my weight loss surgery, you can eat cookies and you still lose weight in the first year, because that's considered your honeymoon stage. So, usually you could eat a cookie, and then after weight loss, you eat a cookie. You can't have near as much, but you still eat it. In the first year, you lose. But then after that, unless you reprogram your mind, you fall back into old habits. Absolutely. And if you eat carnivore, then you don't have to worry about falling back into bad habits, because you are satiated and because your body is full and you're getting the nutrients that you need, so you don't crave food. I mean, I used to drive like to the post office, and I'd be like, oh God, there's that store, or oh, there's Starbucks, there's this Chick-fil-A, da, da, da. And now I don't do that anymore. I just go and I have food freedom. I don't think about food. I don't think about where my next week kick is going to be. I don't even think about sweets.
And the
But I
difference,
had to get it out of my body. I had to get it out of my system in order to have that food freedom. So technically, what is that saying?
Audra, I am
Discipline.
yeah,
Discipline
discipline
Oh,
is,
absolutely.
yeah,
There we go.
Discipline
equals freedom.
equals freedom. I agree.
Right.
I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And I think, Audra, if you'd be willing, I think that you should come back to the butter dish and talk about your gastric surgery and how that's been different on it, because that's a whole conversation in and of itself.
Yeah.
I have people in my life who have just had this surgery, and I would love for them to get on carnivore, and trying to infer just kind of, you know, little bits here and there, trying to drop it in that it's okay to eat carnivore with this type of surgery. I would love to hear a lot of your thoughts on that. And I'm sure a lot of people in our gang would too.
oh yeah,
Well, I kind of maintained my weight. Well, we'll have to talk about it one day. Basically, I was supposed to be in the hospital 2 days. I was in the hospital 8 weeks. I developed 2 leaks from the surgery. I had to come home with NPO, which was nothing by mouth, for 21 weeks. I had a PICC line in my arm that they gave me TPN through, which is total parental nutrition, 1,600 calories a day. I went from 275 to 180. And I kept it there for a long time. But then when I got on steroids because of allergies, asthma, and an eye problem I had, then my weight went way back up. I gained 30 pounds in 30 days. I actually fasted for 30 days straight, because I was so desperate to get the 30 pounds off that I had gained. I was devastated. So on December 31st, New Year's Eve of 2018, I did not eat again until January 31st. So people would say, how long have you been fasting? And I'm like, oh, I hadn't eaten since last year. It was a funny thing to say, but looking back, I will never do that again. I'll never fast for 30 days. It's too hard.
No,
well, we definitely need a part 2, ladies. What do you think?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And I was going to ask for this interview about any medications, what kind of changes have happened in any oral medications or over the counter and your before and after. I think we touched on that, but maybe just touch on that again.
Yeah, I've always taken steroids, like I said, for asthma, allergies. You hear how I'm kind of hoarse. I have environmental allergies. So, and it affects me from time to time. And I have to take steroids from time to time. But I'll be honest with you, even on carnivore, even if I take steroids, I can still lose weight. I still lose weight. I'm still able to maintain. People say, oh, if you take steroids, you'll be so hungry, you'll eat the house. Mm-hmm. Not if you eat meat.
Wow.
Not if you eat meat you want.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
If you eat sugar and carbs and starch and bread and all that stuff, yes, you will be so hungry that you cannot get full if you're on steroids.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Carnivore changes everything.
When I fasted for those 30 days, I was on 60 milligrams of steroids a day, and I still fasted.
So hungry. Gosh.
But I didn't eat. See, I wasn't eating the sugar and the carbs, so I wasn't hungry. And after about 5 days, you're not hungry anyway then. And I dry fasted for 5 days during that 30 days.
Well, thank goodness we don't have to do that again.
No.
You found a complete solution that you don't have to go back.
That's right. I was desperate though. I mean,
I know,
because I had gained so much weight so fast.
Yes.
And it was inflammation too. It wasn't just weight. My clothes were too tight, and it was inflammation, and and it was terrible. Terrible.
So
and I was dealing with the eye condition.
How do you like fasting so far, Audra? Right now?
Oh, I love fasting. I've always fasted. I actually have done rolling 48 for the month of December.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
She sure did. Yep. It's fantastic.
And I'm on a 72. I started it Sunday night. It'll be over, Monday night. Yeah, Monday night. So it'll be over tomorrow night.
Oh, same here. On the same schedule.
Yeah, I think we talked about that on the Steak and Butter Gang yesterday, I think. But yeah. so used to when I was on the standard American diet, you would have a craving, and the craving would be like this loud pounding at the door, just pound, 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 pound. And you would have to answer the door. You would have no choice. You had to answer the door because of that craving. Now on Carnivore, I can hear like a faint knock off in the distance, and just kind of like walking down the candy store aisle, the candy aisle in the convenience store. I can walk down there and I hear a faint little knock here or there, but I don't have to answer the door. I can just say, oh yeah, I hear that faint knock, but I'm not interested. Because I don't crave those things anymore. And the knocking used to be really serious. And I really had a serious food addiction to sugar. Now I don't. Now I can just about bet you if I went back to eating sugar and carbs and the standard American diet, then all that would probably come back. It would probably come back for anybody. But you no longer have the craving. You no longer have to white knuckle. You no longer have to make yourself stay in this lane. You just put on cruise control and stay in this lane and eat meat.
Yeah.
Well, Audra,
The
this has
carnivore
just
lane.
been such a delight. This has just been so incredible. Your light shines so brightly in the carnivore community, and it is a pleasure to have you in meetings. And we're going to have you back for more because we have a lot more to learn from you. But thank you for opening yourself up to this journey and for sharing this. This has been fantastic. I just thank you.
You're so welcome.